Um, yes, self-love. So I had talked about the 7 pillars of self-love, and I've been talking about them in various ways for the last couple weeks and or years. Um, and so if anyone is interested, just a hey, you can still get on my mailing list if you sign up tonight by 7 p.m. Um, then you will be on the list to get the video for the self love workshop and the worksheet, which is really like almost a workbook. It has like a couple journal prompts and activities that you can try to help cultivate a more loving relationship with yourself. So I guess I wanted to talk quickly about, I actually don't even know. These things are pretty unscripted, but I wanted to talk about why I talk about self love all the time and why I do this work. So, um, I mean, I have my own personal reasons, like my own journey, as I was sharing in the workshop, that I got to a point where I realized, um, I developed a lot of um, attributes, or I would say coping mechanisms that weren't serving me well. Things like perfectionism, type A personality, overachieving, chronic caretaking, which are all related to my situation, and I would say they were trauma responses in some way, which I won't go into, but yeah, and I ended up in some like an unhealthy relationship, not the ex that was just on, and in yeah, just then some health issues. So I realized that at some point I was not like actively hating myself per se, but I was making a lot of decisions not from places of love, and that those were having really negative effects on my life. So things like having really poor boundaries and um, yeah, perfectionism and fear of disappointing people and people pleasing and all that shit. And I'm still, still it's still a work in progress, but that is why I wanted to start doing the work personally, like on myself, that I did, because that was the realization. Um, and I remember also getting um, to a point where I had like, left that relationship, and I had a couple degrees and I had a career and I had a loving partner. Um, and I kind of just felt like, is this it? Like, is this, is this everything that I've been working towards? Um, and just trying to grapple with like the fact that I wasn't really that happy. And I think a lot of folks have this experience. Some people call it a midlife crisis. I call it like an awakening or an unraveling. Um, but just like this, and some people just stay there, and that's, their own prerogative. Like, maybe you can be complacent, I guess. But I was like really struggling with the fact that I was like, this is as good as it gets. And then I realized it could get better. And that part of that was, um, well, a lot of that started with my relationship with myself. So that's how I got into the own work for myself. And that's why I do this work. And I also realized that, um, I mean, there's more to that story, and I'm sure you'll hear more about it as weeks go on. And you know, obviously, like getting into burlesque and teaching burlesque was another avenue of like helping myself and other people explore like certain aspects of themselves. But doing the work as a coach, I realized that also like at the root of every decision for folks is their relationship with themselves. If I had wanted to be like a career coach or a business coach, even, at the root of that and any decision or action you're going to take in your life, no, bye, Ella, is is related to your relationship with yourself. So I think the basis of all the work starts from like working on that relationship with yourself. And this is what comes up the most with clients is like issues around self-worth and kindness and, you know, perfectionism and fears of failure and people pleasing and the fear of just like not being loved and not being enough, which is like really common. That's, you know, where we all come from, and that's what drives so much of our action. So really wanting to do that work. And I believe that in general, I think the world will be a better place if we all loved ourselves a little more. I mean, I know that when I say this, it sounds really cheesy, um, but I do believe it. I think, you know, all the terrible things that are happening, or many of the terrible things are happening because of greed and power, but ultimately like insecurity and not, you know, jealousy and feeling fear of abandonment and not having like a solid foundation with ourselves. And I think that if we come from a place of that and we work from a place of establishing a more loving relationship with ourselves, then the world benefits. And I think your immediate world benefits too, obviously. But I think the amount of time that you spend, you know, hating on yourself, or maybe for some people it's not hate, maybe people are, you know, indifferent, which is, I mean, for many people that might even be the first step or the first goal, but for lots of us, we actually like hate on ourselves a lot. And it takes up so much time and energy in our lives, um, that, you know, think about all the amount of time and energy you would have left, if you weren't spending it obsessing about yourself and what you said and what you did and what that person said and whether that was misinterpreted, or, you know, what you wore, etc. It would free up so much energy and time for other things and to be more present in our lives, and therefore making us, I think, better partners and better parents and employees and employers and so on and so forth. So that's sort of the basis of where I think it where why I think self-love is important. Um, I'm just debating how much more to talk or go into this. Um, and again, if you sign up for my mailing list, you'll get the workshop, and some of this will be repetition, but that's okay because sometimes we need to hear things multiple times. Um, yeah, I think for many people, the assumption is that if I love myself, then I'm going to become like a narcissistic asshole. Um, and I would say, hi, folks that just joined. Um, you know, loving yourself is not about, well, it's the same thing about, it's not about being self-involved, because if anything, you're far more self-involved when you're obsessing about other people liking you and how people react to you and trying to convince people to like you and obsessing about every move and every word that you said. Like, that's way more self-involved than just being like, I love myself, I will continue working on myself, and that this is how I am and how do I want to grow as a person, um, which we'll get to in a second. Um, and that loving yourself doesn't mean that you think you're better than other people. It just means you think you're just as deserving of love and respect and all of those things as anyone else. And you and I find too, the more you love yourself, the more you love other people. And I always like it sounds really Care Bearish, but like it's true, and I find it easier to love other people, the more I love myself. Also, because you know what you don't like in other people, you hate in yourself, all that stuff. The other thing is that like the fear of not progressing, or like growing as a person if you like accept yourself as is, um, which I just don't think is true. I think that we continue to grow, um, because, well, one, because that's kind of why we're here, I think, and that's part of the human experience is just learning and growing. Um, And two, you're doing it from a place of self-love, rather than a place of self-hate. And anything like lasting change in particular comes from places of self-love. Anyone who's ever like tried to hate themselves into um, making a change, you know, when first of all, when you arrive, it doesn't even feel that good because you're still the same person that hated yourself all the way there. It's not like you feel better as a person. Um, and what was my other point about that? I don't remember. You arrive and it doesn't feel good and it doesn't last. Um, it's harder to keep lasting change when you're doing it from a place of self-hatred. So I'm gonna end it there because clearly I'm fading. Um, but those are some of my thoughts. I have a lot of them, and you'll hear more of them on self-love. So again, if you want to hear a lot of them, you can sign up for my mailing list and get the workshop emailed out. That's coming tonight or tomorrow morning, probably tomorrow morning, but you have to sign up by tonight to be on the list. Um, the video and the worksheet um, will go out, but also I'll be just this is my jam. This is what I like to talk about. So I'll be talking about it on my lives at Tuesdays at 8 and Fridays at 4. But I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on self love. If you have any particular struggles or things that work for you. Um, thanks, Karen. Says I have lovely thoughts. And that's very sweet. And I'd also love to hear if there's things you want me to talk about. Like if there's things that I might have some resources on or thoughts on, just send me a message and let me know, and I'll do my best. So I hope everyone has a lovely it's a long weekend. Well, what does that mean? It means it's gonna rain. That's what it means. May long weekend means it's gonna rain. So hopefully you're not camping. But I hope you have a lovely long weekend, and I hope it is full of self love. Okay, until next time, kisses. Ending.